What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Stoppage Time Stooges. It's episode 26, international break. Not a lot of football going on, but we do have some big important matches in Europe and over in Concacaf. But before we get into that, I'm joined by Andrew, Jacob, and Ricardo. Guys, how are we doing tonight?
We're good.
We're doing. How are you?
Excited.
I'm here.
Not fine. He's here. That's probably an improvement.
I mean, is here and fine almost the same thing? I mean, he's not really saying anything by saying he's here.
That's the beauty of it.
Well, didn't answer my question. Is it
I know.
Okay, so he's fine.
Whatever you say. Interpretation.
From a certain point of view.
Yep.
Oh, wink for those watch on YouTube. All right. Shall we get into some stuff here? Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
you called the shots.
All right. Let's do this thing. Before we get into international games, there was some news in the Premier League this week, and Nottingham Forest are the second team in a relegation battle to deal with a point deduction. 4 points puts them in the bottom three. I believe Luton Town's just above them, and Luton's had a tough run in. Actually, these two teams faced off previous weekend in a 1-1 draw. But anybody want to start here? Initial reaction to Forest getting hit here, and do you think if they appeal, it'll go down to maybe less points or no points at all?
It's only 4 points. Like,
well,
I mean,
it's
a big deal, but
team. This
it is.
like,
But Everton, you could see an appeal being. There's wiggle room to get points back. With 10 points versus 4 points. I mean, they can try. I'm sure they're going to appeal. I'm certain, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it.
I think it's worth it. You need every point. You need it. You're Nottingham Forest. You're not very good. You're not very good. You need every point you can get. I mean, so I don't know. I just don't understand why this year the Premier League decided that they're just going to crack down on all these crappy teams and give them point deductions like they don't have it hard enough already. I mean, they're not good. Do you really want to step on their neck while they're already on the ground? But that's just how I am. But I guess rules are rules. So
it's funny because this is almost like the reverse of what American sports does too. Because they Americans, if this were like traditional American sports setup, they'd have Manchester City paying Forest while they're hemorrhaging money.
Yeah, draft picks.
They'd get salary tax, or luxury tax. I mean, compensation. It's the complete opposite. It's like, if you're not making money, screw you. We don't want you here. And so it's very funny how that dichotomy. But I mean, rules are the rules, as Jacob said.
I mean, it just makes every point worth way more. I mean, you think about the Liverpool game Nunez scored that 99th minute winner. I mean, that's points dropped. 1 point now looks even bigger. So, I mean, you kind of had a feeling, they were going to be in this relegation battle anyway, but this does them no favors. And so they're going to have to work even harder to try and stay up in the Prem. And it's going to be tough, but
it's the reality situation. I will ask a question before we move on. Let's say Forest doesn't get any points back from an appeal. Luton or Forest, who stays up?
Luton. It's easy.
If they don't blow 3-goal leads,
I was going to say, Luton's been in rough form the past few weeks.
And blowing a 3-goal lead hard. It's hard to recover from that.
But Luton
in one half. I mean, gosh.
Luton at their peak this season has looked better than Forest at any point.
Yeah. True. That's true.
Forest. To be different, I'll say Forest. Anthony Alonga will get them over the line. I don't know.
No, Gio Reyna will. Just kidding.
No, he's not.
Sorry.
He'll get his hair dyed a different color. Well, he's got nothing better to do.
Saying, geez, I mean, Jacob's completely in the right here. I mean,
it's not geez in terms of what Jacob's saying. It's just the fact that why is he at Forest?
Yeah,
that's true.
It's such a bad spot to be at. But we can thank his agent for that.
And I love all the talk. Oh, Nuno handpicked Gio Reyna.
No, he didn't.
So you can use
sit on the bench and warm it up for
just to warm up for Gibbs White.
Ricardo, did you pick?
Yeah, I said Luton.
All right, I'll go split down the middle, Forest. What I will say is, I think I looked at this earlier this week. I think it's 16 drop points from winning positions this year for Luton Town. And I think it's 8 against the 3 title challengers because, of course, I think it was 4-3 against Arsenal with Rice scoring that header at the end. They were up against Manchester City, and I don't remember the final score in that game, but I know City scored a couple goals in the second half. And against Liverpool, Luis Diaz scored 4th or 5th minute of stoppage time. It's fascinating because they play so well for large stretches of the game at home, but against pretty much everyone, they're dropping points from winning positions. So their ceiling is probably higher, but their floor is really bad, particularly on the road. They've gotten beaten handily by some teams away from home. So I'll go Forest. These are really bad, though. Forest probably needs it more because of how many players they brought into the club.
Yeah.
I just don't know how their financial situation improves if they were to go down with like 30 players signed over the last 2 transfer windows. So, yeah, fascinating stuff, but we'll see how that unfolds. I think they have about a month or so to figure out if they're going to appeal, and then a decision's going to have to come. So we'll see how that goes. Let's move on to the more important stuff, and that's the international window. Euros are going to take place this summer, and there's a couple spots still to be filled, and I believe it's 3. There's some playoffs going on. We're going to go through all of them quickly, give some predictions, and we'll see if any of us get this right. We'll start with Georgia versus Luxembourg. It's at Georgia, and these 2 teams have played each other twice all time, 1 win for each team. Anybody lean in one way or another?
I thought it was at Mercedes-Benz, but no.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Georgia. I don't know where the hell Luxembourg is. I don't, I don't know.
Isn't that by like the Netherlands or something, like Holland or something like that?
Yeah, I think.
If I had to, I think my geography serves me correct, but
Georgia with the Napoli guy.
Varskelia.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Vara.
My interpreter
guy.
My interpreter will handle that for me.
Yeah. I mean, is everyone going to pick Georgia here? Because I feel like it's just for that reason, for him alone. Well, no, they have what's his face, the goalkeeper plays in Spain, Mamadashvili or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
He's not going to score, but he'll probably save him a couple times. But, Georgia.
Sevilla. Yeah.
Yes, they're horrible, but I did them.
It's great to see their downfall. It's so great.
16.
It's great.
Oh my lord!
Oh wait, no, not Sevilla. Oh, I screwed that up.
That is Valencia.
Valencia. I'm an idiot.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I don't know why I said Sevilla. I'm sorry.
We needed the Sevilla mention.
Andrew, there's a player on New York City's winning team that plays for Luxembourg. Do you know who that is?
The winning team. I don't follow the Red Bulls. I'm sorry.
No. Sorry, New York City FC.
Oh.
Team that won MLS Cup. Center back.
Yeah, got you.
No.
I can't tell you. I'm telling you, NYCFC is dead
right.
to me. NYCFC. I'll only name here. I'm gonna go through tangent right here. I'll name off all the players I know for NYCFC's current roster: Santi Rodriguez, Keaton Parks, James Sands, Mijatovic, who they just signed, and Bakrar. Yeah, that's it. I'm telling you. Freeze, the keeper. Freeze.
There we go.
Freeze.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm telling you, NYCFC is dead to me. It's a bunch of AI generated like 55 overalls in FIFA.
They need a European legend. They need another European legend to come to the club.
Two Benjamins going to LA.
Missing. That's what they've been missing. They can't lure any of them anymore. They need a recruiting.
They needed Hazard. They needed him before he retired. They needed him.
I would have bought that jersey the minute it was online.
But
they need who do they need is Bonucci still playing?
Bonucci's in Turkey.
Oh, see, yeah, there we go. That's the need to go after.
He's at one of the giants in Turkey. I know he left Union Berlin in January.
Andrew, they need to get Antoine Griezmann when he wants to come to the MLS.
I agree.
Griezmann would be a big get.
Just give me someone that I've heard of before.
I was right. I was right. Let's go.
Love it. Yeah, but anyways, Georgia.
By the way, Andrew, the center back is Chanot. I'm blank. I can't pronounce his name right.
Oh,
34-year-old.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
I remember he had a big. He was whining at the end of that game against Portland in the MLS Cup because Portland scored a cheap goal. Anyways, these teams actually are separated by 7 or 8 spots in the rankings, in FIFA's rankings. So it's judging off that, it should be close. But Georgia at home, they got the best player. Take them to win. And the other team, the other matchup that will face the winner of that one is Greece versus Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pronunciation.
You ever watch Borat?
Does he look like he's watched Borat? No, I don't know. The point is no. Sorry, I don't know.
Game is in Greece.
I mean, Greece.
Greece. What are we doing? I mean, if they lose, they should just quit. They should just disband the soccer. Their soccer team. I'm serious. Just quit. It's over. If you can't beat freaking Kazakhstan, however the hell you say it, there's something wrong.
Wow, Jacob.
But you just corrected him.
Yeah, he corrected me, and then 45.
I corrected myself.
That's just fun.
This is pretty easy for me. Greece is going to win at home.
Simicas is going to score.
I actually think Yakimakis is going to score if anyone's scoring. So
MLS represent.
Mavropanos header on a corner.
I think that's more likely than Simicas. So, all right. So we all pretty much everybody's got Georgia and Greece. Those teams will face off. Don't know the location to get into the Euros. Who are we leaning towards?
This matchup. This would actually be somewhat interesting.
Yeah,
like they're kind of they just kind of equal to me. I mean, Kvara probably be the best player still. Yeah, I'd go Georgia. I mean, give me the best player in this matchup. But I'm gonna say, do you want scores or do you want? Yeah, give me Georgia then.
Oh,
I'll go Greece. I think they got the best collective.
Sure.
No disrespect to Georgia. I don't know anyone else besides Kvara. But I think Greece is underrated maybe in Europe. They don't have a lot of big names, but they have a lot of players in Europe who perform well. So I'll go Greece.
Georgia, why not?
All right, I'm going with you, Christian. I'm going Greece. I think they'll shut down Varitskelia. Simicas and Mavropanos. That's my reasoning.
Well, the last time we were split 2-2 in this exact format, we were very off. So
if this happens again, I'm never telling you, and I'm never gonna.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna not pick ever.
This is a little different though, because that was just boneheaded.
That was a lock.
I mean,
that was like, what are you kidding me? I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna bet on so.
All right, so if Greece wins, we're gonna say that was lock. So that's
fine.
Whatever.
It doesn't
turn the tables.
All right, let's fly through the next one. Wales versus Finland. This is going to be played in Cardiff.
Bye, Finland.
Wales in Gareth Bale's in Gareth Bale's honor. He'll find out the score on a golf course somewhere.
I was about to say some golf related. Yeah, yeah. It's Wales. It's Wales. Has to be.
Finland's going to need 2 goals maybe from Timo Pukki.
Pretty much, yeah.
Not happening. I know he's in decent form for Minnesota, but yeah, Wales are going to win. Andrew, you went Wales?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the other matchup is Poland versus Estonia. Obviously, Lewandowski's here. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
You had me at Lewandowski, Poland.
Matty Cash.
There we go. There's another name.
Okay, Derek Ray. Or is that Mark Donaldson?
All of them.
They have Zielinski. They got Kiwior. How you say his name?
Kiwior.
Yeah. Kiwior, yeah.
Derek's favorite player. Actually, Derek really loves a lot of this Poland side. He loves Lewandowski so much. Our good friend Derek.
That's right. All right, so we all have Wales. We all have Poland. Who's going to the Euros?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they'll get embarrassed in whatever the group stage of the
Yeah.
Euro was, which is what happens every time they're in anything.
That's probably the correct answer, especially if I'm going if I'm going to be consistent and go best player. It's Poland. I'm tempted to say Wales. I'm very tempted. I'm going to go Poland. I'm going to go Poland. I mean, they were just in the World Cup.
I think we're on the verge of being split 2-2 again.
So was Wales. I was like Wales.
Yeah, but
the US.
Yeah, but
they have better names, but maybe not collectively. I don't know. I'm going Wales. I think it goes to like penalties or something, and Wales just wins it.
Wales, for whatever reason, Poland's gotten to the knockout stages of big tournaments recently. They got to the World Cup round of 16. I believe they lost to France.
Yeah.
But Wales, for whatever reason, I feel like they perform well at the Euros. And they had that crazy run, I think it was in 2018. But I think that they're really tough to break down. They typically play, I believe, in a 3-back. I'll go Wales, not knowing the location.
I'll tell you this: Lewandowski will be inspired to do something.
He's
by Xavi
much for Poland. It's difficult with the group around him, but
of course. But I'm
I agree. I think he will have a chip on his shoulder, but I'm gonna go Wales there, and then we'll finish with Bosnia versus Ukraine.
Now this is hard.
This is good.
This is probably one of the more difficult ones because you think the better team on form is probably the one away from home.
Yeah,
and that be Ukraine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you're not going to back your guy Mudryk.
Don't put it like
that.
One thing to note before anyone answers is the last time these two teams matched up, Ukraine was on the road in a World Cup qualifier and won at Bosnia. So that was in 2021, obviously a very much changed team, but I'm gonna go Ukraine. I think they've performed well with everything they got going on, and playing away from home and all these different circumstances. I think
they playing away from home, but they get a good crowd in Germany. Yeah. They got a good home support. But
yeah, I'm gonna go Ukraine. I think Bosnia is from my understanding of aging squad, I know Dzeko is probably still in the mix.
Dzeko will be playing, but he's like, what is he, 38, 39, somewhere in that range he must be.
Pjanic, the midfielder who was at Barca for some time, still in the mix too.
Who does he play for now?
He plays for a team in the United Arab Emirates.
He used to be one of my favorites when he was at his peak in Serie A. I love Pjanic. Very, very underrated. And of course, Barcelona ruined him.
No shock.
But it wasn't Xavi's fault.
No, that's true.
It was Ronald Koeman's fault.
Yeah. Oh my God! What a name to bring up. Horrible.
I'll take Ukraine for Mudryk.
Yeah, there you go. I'm back.
I have to.
Yeah, I'm going.
I love me some Edin Dzeko, but I just think Ukraine also is just a better team.
I mean, right now, Ukraine, you got Zinchenko too from Arsenal.
Yeah, we'll actually get to play.
They got the striker from Girona too, correct?
Yep.
That's a really. I mean, I think if this
Dovbyk, what's his name?
Yeah.
If they get to the Euros, I feel like that's a team that could surprisingly finish in a top 2 spot. I mean, we talked about this all the way back in, I don't remember what month it was, but when they played Italy and kind of got, I believe it was robbed of a penalty. I know we talked about this on a pod. They play really well.
And don't forget about
organized and they have a lot of pace.
Yeah,
don't forget about West Ham legend, the Andriy Yarmolenko.
That's
the guy used to be filth.
Mikolenko too, as well, from Everton.
Sagankov. Still, I don't know where he is actually, but
he's at Girona too, I think.
Is he? Oh, I think he is. You're right. Yeah.
So I think that's.
Where was he before that? I don't remember that.
I'll get it to you right now. Dinamo Kiev.
I was gonna say that. Damn, I should have said it.
Played 236 appearances for the club.
Yeah, that's for some reason I remember him more there than at Girona. That's weird.
Well, that's fascinating. All right, so everybody's going to go with Ukraine there, and then our final matchup is Israel versus Iceland, neutral location in Budapest. Jacob,
the Skulls will be shunned down. They'll go back to their Viking outfits, whatever the hell they wear, because Israel, baby.
If you can't tell already, Jacob is a big
for those
Israeli
watching on YouTube. Jacob is flashing a Israel goalkeeper kit.
This is business and it is personal. Israel, baby, we're going through.
Personal.
Wow.
Okay. Any reason beyond that?
It's my homeland. This is my roots, for crying out loud. Where half my family lives. I'm not gonna bet against them. In their honor.
Good. Because I will.
Public.
Oh. Sorry to rain on your parade.
It's okay.
All right.
Ricardo, drop in the hammer. It's fine.
Sorry, there's nothing personal.
No, of course not. Only for me.
I actually just hate you, but no, I can't pick Israel. I'm sorry.
It's okay. This is a hard pick, not.
But do I have to pick Iceland? Like, that's the thing. Like,
they're not much better.
They're separated by 2 places in the FIFA rankings.
Yeah,
Israel 75th, Iceland 73rd. By the way, I'm gonna go Israel in extra time.
God, I wish Manor Salman could play. It sucks that he can't. I'd feel better about
Andrew. Andrew, did you make a selection?
I'm gonna go Israel.
All right,
I'm gonna go Israel. Yeah,
lone wolf for me then.
All right, and then in our final place, it's Ukraine versus Israel. What are we doing here?
Ukraine.
Jacob, I'm sorry, Ukraine.
Yeah,
Israel, baby. This is
all right.
My heart.
All right, Ukraine 3, and then Jacob's gonna go with Israel. There we go.
Yep. And for Ricardo, if it's Ukraine, Iceland.
I'm still picking Ukraine.
Still picking Ukraine.
Either way, I think it's Ukraine.
Yeah. I think it's obvious too.
All right, that's that'll take place tomorrow. So you'll be seeing this the day of. So we'll see how these go, and then I believe early next week is the playoff finals for these 3 spots. So we'll see how those go. And that's all for the Euros. Let's go to CONCACAF. Big matches tomorrow night. United States versus Jamaica, a shorthanded Jamaican squad, and Mexico versus Panama. Panama, a really dangerous team, I would say, given the way they've performed over the last 12 months. But we'll obviously go further in depth here with the United States. We're going to start off with our starting 11s. If you follow us on Twitter, you would see that all 4 of us have created our own starting 11s. A lot of similarities, but there are some key differences. Shall we start with the goalkeepers? Because there was a difference there.
Sure.
All right.
Are we just gonna? How are we doing this?
I think we'll just discuss the major differences.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we'll just kind of go through the, I guess, nailed on starters.
Right.
All right. So the goalkeeper, I believe I was the only person who picked Ethan Horvath. I think everybody else picked Mac Turner. I'll quickly explain my reasoning, and you guys can tell me if it's fair or not fair. I think Horvath is the only player of the 3. I don't really trust Drake Callender at this moment in time. I don't think he's performed well enough for Inter Miami. I think he's solid, but not trustworthy enough in a knockout game. I think Horvath is playing well for Cardiff since he moved over there. And to me, Matt Turner, in his last game for the United States, had a huge error against Trinidad. It didn't prove to be a huge difference maker because they went through. And he's obviously now out of the team at Nottingham Forest. So if we're looking at a player playing in the championship in better form, more confidence, I know Matt Turner's played well for the United States, but if I were the manager, I think I would give Horvath an opportunity in a stage like this.
Here's my thing. Yes, Matt Turner's not in the greatest form, but he's done this before. He's won a cook. Now, to be fair to Ethan Horvath, didn't he play in 21?
He came off the bench in that final against Mexico for an injured Zach Steffen.
So it's not like he doesn't have that experience either. He does.
Mm-hmm.
But Matt Turner has proved himself for longer in a U.S. shirt.
Yep.
So even though I agree with you in the sense that the goalkeeper position is not solidified at the United States. There needs to be one of our young guys needs to step up in the next few years. I don't. It's gonna be. This will be an issue post 26. I still think Matt Turner might be our goalkeeper for the 26 World Cup, but I mean he's getting up there in age too. Let's not forget too. I think he's already north of his 30s. So, for these 2 matches, assuming the 3rd place match too, if they don't beat Jamaica, Matt Turner should be the starter. But I understand the Ethan Horvath argument, and I wouldn't be super. I'm gonna be angry. I'm not gonna be super angry. I would understand.
Jacob and Ricardo, you same with Andrew on this point of view?
Yeah, I would say so. And I also just want to bring up another point. I mean, he's already not playing, obviously, with Forrest. I mean, he got benched, but I don't know. I'm just thinking about it from more of like a player standpoint. Let's say if Berhalter decides to not play him in these 2 games, like confidence-wise, that's I mean, huge loss in confidence. And
that's a good point. Yep.
I mean, that's like at that point, I'm not saying it's like a permanent thing. Maybe it's just for these 2 games, I could see it potentially, but you already kind of, he's already down. I'm not saying out of pity start him, but like he's like Andrew said, he's been in these situations before. He has 37 appearances with the team. Like he's been in these situations before, so and just not playing him confidence wise would be at probably an all-time low. But I don't know. I do understand the argument of who's the the better player in the player in better form. But I don't know. It's a tough one, definitely.
And you know what? Too, I'll give some roses to Drake Callender too. I mean, I would pick Ethan Horvath over Drake Callender, but I think Drake Callender, right now in the current U.S. goalkeeping situation, is a okay number 3. Like Drake Callender is probably he's definitely our best U.S. goalkeeper in MLS.
Yep,
he's a pretty good shot stopper. Which I value much more than his work with the ball.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
But Jacob, go on.
No, I agree about with the goalkeepers, stopping shots is the most important thing. Obviously you want them to be half decent with the ball and how they distribute the ball, but it's more important that they stop the shot rather than they can give you a nice pass. That's just how I feel. I just think with Turner, he's done it before. You feel more confident putting him in. I mean, Ricardo mentioned his confidence. His confidence is probably not very high at the moment anyway. So if you did bench him, it would just make it worse. Although Berhalter doesn't really care about people's feelings, which I don't hate, honestly, because I think you have to be a little cutthroat when you have this kind of a job. But I don't know. To me, maybe this will, I don't know, give him some sort of a spark and give him a little jolt again. I mean, he played relatively well in the World Cup a year or two ago. So you hope that that sort of confidence that he had then can come back in this instance, but that's obviously not a guarantee. But I just think it's almost like the whole Pickford thing with England. He rises to the occasion when he has to, even if he ain't the best of the cards that are dealt. You stick with them. And I think that's sort of how it is with Matt Turner.
Yeah, well said. Ricardo, I think that was a great point. If you look at it from that point of view, it's if he's not playing at Forest, which it's not going to change because he had way too many opportunities and blew them all. He gets dropped here. That's just going to make it even worse going forward. And I mean, he's the starter going forward. It's not going to change, even if Horvath has a miraculous performance in his next appearance, whenever that is. And, with Zach Steffen not being involved, and that's a long road for him to get back into the mix.
He's done. I'm stamping it right now. This is the Colorado Rapids. He's with the worst Kroenke team in the world.
All right.
I mean, he's done. He's done.
The worst.
I'm sure you're not the only person who thinks that.
What an awful first impression, by the way. First week of the season, MLS season against
really
the
bad.
Portland Timbers.
Yeah.
It was like everyone's excited for Zach Steffen. He's back in America, and he puts up a 4-goal stinker.
Can't do that when you're in the MLS. Sorry.
No.
It's not. I mean, it's the MLS for crying out loud.
But
like you're at City. I mean,
now I'll also defend Matt Turner's bad play at Forest a little bit here. It's Forest. It's Forest. So yeah, obviously he hasn't performed well, and a lot of goals have been given up. But that Forest back line has been awful this Premier League season. Just anything goes by them. It's literally an MLS back line. If we're talking MLS, they're a literal MLS back line. So I'll give Matt Turner some leeway there for that, but yeah,
that's fair. And I think he's our best shot stopper.
Yeah,
is he great with his feet? No, and I think that's where he gets in trouble for Forest. I remember in that win against Manchester United at home, the goal that was conceded was off of a bad clearance by him that just got put into the middle of the field, and United buried him for it. But again, if he's going to be good saving left to right, down to the sides, I mean, that's fine. Right now he is head and shoulders above everybody else, regardless if he's playing at club or not. But let's move on to the back four. Everybody's got Anthony Robinson, who's been, by the way, unbelievable for Fulham.
Yeah.
One of the best left backs in the Premier League this season. And his ability to go forward is just dramatically improved.
So much better.
One of the nailed on first guys on the team sheet for the US. There's not even a backup left back to me that even closes the gap at this moment in time. Everybody's got Chris Richard, another player in the Premier League who's having a really strong second half of the year. And Joe Scally, of course, if everybody remembers, in the last match for the United States in this competition, Serginho Dest was very foolish.
What else is new?
Yeah.
I love that kid. I love that kid so much.
The fact that I'm just more angry that we don't have DeAndre Yedlin on this team.
I don't know if you should be worried about that.
We need a backup right back.
You need a guy to give a pregame speech because Messi can't speak English.
Exactly.
Let's get DeAndre Yedlin.
Hey, we're interpreters are getting fired these days. You got to have someone to back them up.
Second interpreter. Yeah, Yedlin's a fascinating one. So everybody's got Robinson. Everybody's got Richards. Everybody has Scally. Again, I'm the only one who's not picking Tim Ream.
Oh, Christian.
I didn't pick Tim. I don't think I picked Tim Ream. Or did I?
You did pick Tim Ream.
I did pick Tim Ream. Okay, I thought I didn't first.
Again, very similar reasoning from myself here as to why I didn't pick Tim Ream. Not playing at all for Fulham. He had an injury, and ever since he's returned to the squad, he just isn't getting in the team. Miles Robinson and Chris Richards, when they've played together for the United States, have played well. So that's my reasoning. I just think both of them very good trailing back with pace. But again, Tim Ream on the ball is fantastic as that left-sided center back. So again, my reasoning is just that Ream is not playing at club level versus Robinson, who is. But of course, I can totally agree with you guys. Ream likely plays in this match, and I don't really think it's much of a discussion.
I don't know. I'm just thinking if you don't play Ream, I think I'd pick Mark McKenzie over Miles Robinson. Mark McKenzie playing in Belgium.
Also, he's playing at club level too, correct?
Yep, he's playing, and he's playing pretty well. And he had a decent Europa. I forgot. Was he in Conference League or Europa League?
I
think he was in Conference. Right? Yeah, he was in Conference League.
Yes. Yeah.
And I believe he scored a goal in Conference League play. Yeah, I think I'd pick Mark McKenzie at that point. Just, I know MLS has all the money. It really disappointed me when Miles Robinson decided to stay in MLS. He is one of the premier center backs in MLS. And he hasn't done anything like abnormally wrong at the international level. And I'd say the same with Walker Zimmerman. I think they're the two best MLS center backs we've got. But I just the MLS stink is just weighing heavy with Miles Robinson. But no, I would understand that more, I think, than Ethan Horvath for Matt Turner. Yeah. I think there's more of an argument with center back than goalkeeper right now.
Yeah. I mean, my main reason is just experience.
Yep.
I mean, that's there's really not much more to be said about that.
Yeah.
Jacob, anything to add on there? Or
I mean, I don't have a strong opinion on Ream versus Robinson. It's pretty close to me. You mentioned that Robinson and Richards have played relatively well together, so I think that's something to consider. I guess Ream's like a leader, because he's old by default, I guess. So I guess that's part of the reason why you want him out there. But if they drop him from the team, I'm not gonna, be that upset about it.
Well said. All right, let's move on to, I think, where we had the most changes amongst the four of us, the midfield. Of course, Tyler Adams is back in the squad. That's a huge addition, both on and off the field. And Gio Reyna not playing at Nottingham Forest. Jacob, I'll start with you. You went with Gio and Tyler Adams starting next to Weston McKennie, who all four of us had in. Would you like to explain your reasoning on Adams in particular?
Yeah, I feel like if he's healthy, he's going to be in the team. That's just how I feel. I mean, I feel like Berhalter leans on him a lot for leadership and for being very solid as a holding midfielder. I feel like that was the case, especially in the last World Cup. I don't know. I feel like Adams played a lot. I don't know if he ever got taken out of a game. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just seemed like he was like, you're staying on the pitch as long as humanly possible. And I thought he did a lot for himself as far as, getting a bit bigger move for his career. Obviously, the injuries have halted that in the last year, but I feel like Berhalter goes with guys that a lot of these international managers go with people that they trust, regardless of what their form is at their club. That's what one of my takeaways with watching international football is, like it doesn't always matter how good or bad you are playing for your club. If the manager trusts you, you're getting in the team. And I just think Adams I think McKinney, I mean, again, I don't feel great about Reyna playing there. I just feel like, I almost think that Berhalter feels like he owes something to Reyna because of this whole stupid overplayed drama thing that happened in the last World Cup, which oh my God, I am fully team Berhalter on this one. I think Reyna acted like a petulant child, but he's still really talented. So, and when he played in that World Cup, they were better off, and he seemed like he was motivated because he felt like he had something to prove. I mean, if you wanted to put Musa in there instead, I don't hate it. I can understand why he's played a relatively decent amount for AC Milan. And, if you want to put him on the side of Pulisic, who's up top because of the chemistry that they have, I get that too. But I just feel like the three best midfielders on the team are McKinney, Adams, and Reyna. And McKinney, we all love him. I mean, McKinney, I think he's had a really good season for Juventus.
Wes, yeah.
I mean, it almost seems like he's become one of Allegri's like easiest selections. Like he's
after getting exiled from the squad.
Yeah,
it's
remarkable.
I mean, talk about a difference in 16, 18 months. He was shipped off the Leeds. He has performed better than any midfielder in that team to me.
Yeah,
and it's not just defensively. He's scoring goals, assisting Vlahovic and Chiesa. I mean, Weston's on a different level right now than any other midfielder for the U.S. to me. He's just doing so many good things for Juve. But Andrew, you had Cardoso, who is going to have I think he had a late fitness test.
Yes.
Which may change my mind too. I think if he's fit, does that keep him in your team, or do you change your mind?
If he's fit, he's playing. Right now, so this is where I'll take form into account because I value form much more in a midfield than say center backs or goalkeeping. I think Johnny Cardoso is having a standout ever since he got transferred to Real Betis. Standout La Liga season so far, and I mean, I think he's gonna be the future as our 6 over Tyler Adams. You can't rely on Tyler. I love Tyler Adams.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. I hope he still has a spot on this team, but Johnny is just, he has the skill on the ball as a 6 that Tyler Adams does not possess. I'll be in that with a bigger frame, and has proven it in La Liga.
And he can remain fit.
Against good teams. And yeah, I think Johnny is a standout for his team in the future. And I really hope he's fit and can go to his full extent. But that's why you got to be happy that Tyler Adams is back now, because in case something like this does happen, So that's what you got to love about international football. Because anything could change in a second, but you got options. You always have options. But as of right now, if both fit, I'm going Johnny. And I think Ricardo, I think you're the same as me.
I also did,
yeah.
Based off form, I also, and just, well, if he's healthy, then yeah, I think he plays too. But yeah, you pretty much laid it out there. I mean, in La Liga, yeah, he certainly stood out. I mean, he played a full 90 minutes for what? It was like 7 straight games. I mean, he's been playing every single minute, but Yeah. So again, this I think midfield definitely you have to take into account form a bit more, because that's way more like important position, and also just, I mean, you're literally the manning the midfield. You're literally like doing everything, and you're doing the most running, and he's, I mean, clearly been I mean he's been on the field, so
yeah,
over Adams, but
and he probably is that the U.S. goal of the season. That cracker he scored.
Oh, that was so outside the box, right foot into the side netting. Yeah, that was especially for a defensive midfielder too.
Yeah.
You take that into account.
So his skill, for a defensive mid, his skill is, I mean, it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
I love seeing that.
Ricardo, I'll go to you on this one. A couple of, I believe it was Andrew and yourself included Musa, who hasn't started for Milan as of late. I think it's Reinders and Benacer.
Yeah,
playing in that double pivot. Are you going off just what he's done for the U.S. and him being fit, or is there more to that?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going off of. And like Jacob already said, Berhalter seems to, rely on the players he trusts, regardless of form. So, but that kind of counters my other argument of having Cardoso. But I think this one applies a bit more because, Musa's not injured. So, like he's healthy. So I think he probably will stick with him, but that's more likely to me than Adams playing, than Adams playing. But I don't know. That's just how I say it.
Yeah, because even though like Musa like right now isn't starting, I mean he's played a lot more this season than say someone like Tyler Adams or even Gio Reyna in that instance. So like you got to take who you have and talk about Yunus Musa being one of Greg Berhalter's guys. I mean if you saw Musa's quote today praising Berhalter for everything, I mean it's very clear he wants that spot. So he's going to get playing time. I'm not worried about it. I think Yunus Musa, if he's not starting, he'll be like the first off the bench for the U.S. I mean, it's clear as day.
Yeah, Musa's been unbelievable for us as well. I benched him for this, and I think if Cardoso is going to have some sort of a issue tomorrow and he can't start, I would actually think it's more likely that Musa plays as the lone sixth than Adams.
I agree.
We talked about this, Ricardo and Jacob, last week. Adams has played 2 games for Bournemouth this season. I don't remember if the first one was off the bench, but 2 appearances, one since coming back from an injury that he suffered in September. So he doesn't have a lot of match fitness per se. And my concern is if you start him, play him 60 minutes, and he comes up with another hamstring problem, he's probably done for the season. And his status, maybe even for the Copa America, is in doubt. And again, I mean, our 2 sixes at this point, and Cardoso and Adams, are so crucial to our run in the Copa America, because we're going to be playing Uruguay in the group. I'm blanking on the other 2 teams. I think Bolivia is one of them. But again, if we were to get into the knockout stages, that lone 6 is going to have so much responsibility of just breaking up the attacks on the counter. So Adams, we need for Copa America. Cardoso, of course, as well. But I just worry about Adams' fitness going forward if he were to start. Yeah. Does he play 20 to 25 minutes off the bench to help manage the game late? I see that as a reality, but I think it would be foolish of Berhalter to start him, especially if you have Musa who can play there, Cardoso. But I'll quickly mention the guy I have in over Musa, and that's Malik Tillman, who's playing a lot of football for PSV, and I would play him over Reyna. If those are the 2 he's down to, Reyna's the more talented player. He's performed well in recent matches for the U.S., but Tillman's match fitness is way ahead of him right now. Reyna's only made a couple bench appearances for Nottingham Forest. So to me, Tillman's done some great work for PSV, one of the 3 Americans there who have performed well. And I just think that he deserves another start in a big match here. So that's my reasoning for Tillman. Anything on that before we move on to the forwards?
Two things. On Tillman, the only thing that concerns me is that I think Greg views Tillman more as a winger than as a center attacking mid. And it's funny because it's kind of like the problem he had with Gio Reyna earlier on, where he kept playing Gio as a left winger. And it's clearly not the position he plays his best at. It's clearly as a 10. And he figured that out after years. And I think the same thing's going on with Malik Tillman right now, who plays as a 10 for PSV and is solid. He's a solid 10. But yeah, I think Greg views him more as a winger. But also, I forgot to mention with Johnny Cardoso, I totally forgot to mention this. Him being Real Batista's Player of the Month for February as well. Big deal. We can't forget about that. But just strengthens the argument. But no, I'm very happy with this squad selection overall for this cycle. You can't really argue. I mean, when you have players down of injury and you call up Brendan Aronson, like that. I mean, yeah, he's not been the greatest. He's been pretty bad at Union Berlin, but still, I mean, he just scored a goal like a week or two ago for him. Like to have that type of depth with the US, it feels kind of good. It feels kind of good. Still a lot of work to be done, but I love this roster.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our last position group. Forwards, everybody's got Christian Pulisic and Timothy Weah on the wings. The striker, probably the most discussed topic over the last handful of weeks. Two of us have picked Florian Balogun to start. Two of us picked Ricardo Pepi. Jacob and Ricardo, you are the two that selected Balogun. Argue for him, please.
I mean, it's not like he doesn't play. I mean, he just plays. He just doesn't score, which is obviously what a striker's supposed to do. But I just think he's slightly better, and I think the more complete striker than Pepi, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Pepi too, but I just think, again, Balogun's been more of a. I feel like he's provided a bit more than Pepi has, but I'm not sure the trust factor is quite there with either of them yet. So I've just kind of barely gave it to Balogun just because he's just seems more like complete. But that's really my argument for him. But I wouldn't be shocked if it was Pepi.
Yeah, I think it's pretty close between Balogun and Pepi. Although I will say that, I mean, the amount of goals that they've both scored is not that far apart. I think Pepi is 7 in the Eredivisie and Balogun is 5.
But Balogun plays a lot more than Pepi.
He does?
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I would play him. But I don't know. Club level.
To me, it may be a coin flip, but I just feel better about Balogun. And we spent all of last year propping up Balogun to this ridiculous standard because he chose to play for America, which is indicative of how we feel about our homegrown players. But you know, I mean, he clearly is very talented. I don't really, again, I just don't have a very strong feeling about him between him and Pepi. I think it's a coin flip, and we'll find out how Berhalter feels shortly enough.
For me, Balogun he's clearly more skilled than Pepi. He has better pace than Pepi. But for whatever reason, Pepi just keeps on scoring with the opportunities he's given. And if a US shirt, I mean, talk about super sub. This guy for the US is the definition of like ultimate super sub.
That's what I was about to say too.
Come on, in the instant score.
That plays a part in the role and the discussion as well.
Yeah. So if you're planning on doing Balogun for like the first half and then maybe 60 minutes of Balogun, then doing 30 minutes of Pepi, would not be opposed. But Pepi has just looked so much better. I think he deserves a start like this. We're talking confidence earlier for his confidence in the national team to feel like he has a shot And honestly, this is more so you do this for Balogun to help Balogun. You put him on the bench, make it a competition. It's not guaranteed you start every match, for the U.S. It's not a cakewalk. So put that in his head to perform better at his club, and he's performed decently well for country. So I'm not going to, argue about that. But Pepe is just look for club and country. Great season. Champions League goal to send them to the knockout stages as well. Don't forget about that. You got. I think you just for both. It's best for both players if you start Pepe.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I will say, and we talked about this last week, I think if Josh Sargent's here, he's starting. I was the lead. I was the leader of that take. Andrew, I guess since you weren't there last week, had he been healthy, what would you think of that?
I like Josh. I really do like Josh Sargent. I really do, but he's still number 3. It's a close number 3. It's close 3 strikers. I love Josh Sargent, but he's playing the championship. Sure, Ricardo Pepi's playing the Eredivisie, but that he performed well at Champions League, and he's performed well at the international level. He's performed better at the international level than Sargent has through Sargent's time. So I would still have Pepe than Balogun than Sargent, but it's not really an indictment on Sargent. I think I just need to see more of Josh Sargent.
That's fair, and of course the injuries continue to lengthen for him. It's been a problem for years. It's a shame because, again, we talked about it in the last episode. I think it was 7 goals in his last 10 for Norwich. He's on a really good run for them. It's a shame that he's not in the squad because I think he deserved it. And I will say Haji Wright has done a pretty good job playing left wing for Coventry City, who, of course, are into a FA Cup semifinal. They're near the playoff spots. This is a guy that was playing in Turkey, not really considered one of the top 3 or 4 strikers for the United States, but he's got himself into the squad over Brandon Vasquez. That's pretty notable given how Vasquez has played for Monterrey. So kudos to Haji Wright for regaining some confidence in the championship. But yeah, for me, Pepe's really done well for the United States, particularly as a sub. Scored a lot of big goals, a lot of late goals in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised if Balogun starts, but I think, Andrew, that your point about, making Balogun know that, he's not going to be the nailed-on starter just because he scored 20-plus goals in Liga last year for a mid-table side. He needs to work on being more clinical for Monaco, taking his chances. He is better, I think, in possession, coming back to the ball and combining with Pulisic and Weah and Reyna from the midfield. But, it's just something about scoring goals. Pepe just is more clinical right now with his chances, and he's getting less of them. So I think Pepe is on a really good run given the limited minutes. But we'll see how Berhalter sets his team up tomorrow night. That leaves us with predictions. Jamaica is dealing with injuries, suspensions, disciplinary actions. It's a shame, I think, for the neutral that Jamaica's not anywhere close to 100%. But for us, great. It's a weak Jamaican side. Andrew, I'll start with you. Do you think the United States take care of business tomorrow with a convincing victory?
Talk about the players that are missing for Jamaica. Antonio, you got Leon Bailey's disciplinary reasons. Leon Bailey's gone. Damari Gray, the red card suspension. Ethan Pinnock is hurt. A lot of key players for Jamaica that are out. So I think this is a absolute game that the U.S. should win. I'm gonna go 3-0 is my score. And I'm not gonna say who scores the goals because they're part of my best bets, but one of them is. But 3-0 U.S.
Jacob?
1-0 U.S. I do not expect a convincing performance. I expect it probably uninspiring performance. We're like, how the hell did they only win 1-0? And then we're all going to get worried, and then we're going to do this thing that we always do, where it's like, oh, it's not good enough. Fire Berhalter, blah blah blah. Rinse, repeat, because that's what we do.
Yeah,
and,
you're absolutely right.
So I expect an ugly, pathetic 1-0 win.
We did just lose to Trinidad and Tobago in the second leg. So
of course we did, because they own us.
Yeah. So that's a very good point.
Ricardo?
2-0. US, obviously.
I'm saving the 2-0 for Sunday.
No habla español.
It's tough to see how Jamaica generates a goal.
Exactly.
That's my concern, and I think it's going to have to come from a set piece to me. Something fortunate, a lucky bounce to a second ball. I think we're in a position right now with the center backs where I trust them to, clear anything that's put in front of them. I'm going to also go with 2-0. I just think that I agree with Jacob in the sense that I don't think it's going to be convincing. Knockout game, pressures on them against a weaker team at home. I think that if they're going to perform well and if they play 2 games, assuming they win tomorrow night, I actually think there's a chance they perform better in the second game, getting some legs under them. So I think 2-0, second goal comes late, and they put this one away. So everybody's got the United States winning, keeping a clean sheet. How do we see the other one in Mexico and Panama, who it's going to be difficult, I think, for Mexico.
This is
awful. Hold on. Let me take you back to the last round. I mean, let's not forget that Honduras beat Mexico 2-0. It took Edson Alvarez in the 101st minute.
Rigged, by the way.
Yeah, that was rigged. It was really cool. Too. And I still think they're fraudulent. All right, like I hate that national team. Obviously, I'm cheering for both, but oh my god, unwatchable. The federation's an absolute joke. Oh my god.
Ricardo's rant of the week.
Yeah, I love this.
So I'm not supporting them whatsoever. They're not winning this. They scraped their way into this. They shouldn't have made it in. So I'm gonna say they lose. That's it. But I'm not yeah.
Score prediction?
Mexican, fine. Freaking kill me for it then. Kill me for it. Sorry, I know what I'm watching. All right, this has been terrible.
Red, white, and blue.
For the last 4 years, it's been a joke. So that's why I can't even watch them anymore. So I've just been watching along the dreadful highlights, and I'm just like, yeah, this team is awful. So there's no direction with this team yet either. So you know what? They're not winning. They're not going through.
You know what the biggest ripoff in sports is? Buying a ticket to an L3 match. That's the biggest ripoff in all of sports. And all these Mexican-American fans in the U.S. keep falling for it when they come to America. They keep falling for it. They'll come to Atlanta, Georgia. They'll play at the Georgia Dome.
Mercedes-Benz.
No, I know, but they had that match at the Georgia Dome before the last Copa America. And oh my God. I keep thinking about the Georgia Dome for whatever reason in Mexico. And it's the biggest ripoff in all of sports. What's going on with that federation?
Flannery.
But I also love all the I love Chucky Lozano going after Tata Martino. Now it's hilarious.
Joke,
I love it. He's like he treated us like babies. Maybe because you are babies. I don't know. But I love the karma pick from Ricardo. I think that plays very well in this type of situation. But I live for USA Mexico in a CONCACAF final of some sort. I need USA Mexico. I need a BS red card because Edson Alvarez swipes at Ricardo Pepe's hair. It's something like that. Calls him a traitor or whatever. And then you have one of your, then you have your Then you have your El Salvadorian CONCACAF referee going in and giving a red card.
See, it sounds scripted.
It's always scripted, Jacob. That's the point. It's always scripted. Ricardo literally just said it.
I said, yeah, it literally
Ricardo
was.
just
It was
said it.
rigged. It was rigged. It's corrupt.
So I need Mexico to win. So it has to be the most unconvincing Mexico win of all time. It's gonna be 1-0, and it's gonna be it's gonna be a penalty, and it's gonna be taken by Club America's Quiñones.
Is Santi Jimenez healthy?
Yeah, I believe he is. Yeah,
so.
he is.
All
He
right,
is.
so he's
taking the pen. What am I thinking?
He's gonna have a hat trick, and Mexico win 3-0.
That would be hilarious, and the most surprising thing to happen.
This is the get back game.
Well, get what back?
I don't know. You said they're in a funk, so they snap out of it.
They've been in
a funk for
it's
4
much
years.
larger than just that
They're due.
100-second leg.
No, I know it's way worse than just that.
It's much. I will say Panama's really dangerous. I'll continue to say that because 6-1.
Jacob.
Sorry.
Christian,
Please.
right when you said that, Jacob's face was priceless.
I wasn't looking at him, so thank goodness.
Sorry.
All right, a different word, Jacob, please. I think Panama is a team that can really go after Mexico offensively. They scored 6 goals in 2 legs against Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is an older team, kind of in transition at this point.
Killer novice.
Yeah,
The king.
So I do see a way where, just looking at it from a neutral perspective, Ricardo's analysis is right. I mean, Mexico are not good. And I think they are going to have to grind it out if they want to win here, because Panama's not going to, make a ton of mistakes defensively, and they're going to leave themselves overly exposed. I think Santi Jimenez scores a winner in the second half. They win 1-0. And again, I think it's going to be very unconvincing. I think Panama's really going to make this difficult for them. But those are our 2 finalists. Do we want to pick the final? I think we have to.
Dos Cero, US, easy. it's absolutely.
America.
There's traditions in sports, and Dos Cero is become that, like, it's become the Masters. Every year you look forward to Dos Cero.
Give me a break.
It's a tradition unlike any other, Jacob.
All right, Jim Nance.
But anyways, pick a score.
Oh, okay.
1-0. We're gonna. No, you know what? I'll be different. 2-1 USA.
Disgraceful.
I have them winning.
Disgraceful.
I think.
How is that disgraceful?
I think it's 2-1, but I think it's against Panama. So that's all I'm saying. I'm just US wins.
Oh, okay. Oh, fair. Okay. That's true. It's true. You have Panama. So
2-1 Panama. 2-1 Panama in the semifinal, or do you say?
Well, I'm saying in the final, if it's right, yeah, it would be US.
Yeah. If Panama beats Mexico,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. The US would win 2-1.
Fair. Okay.
I'll join Andrew, because otherwise he'll yell at me like he just yelled at Jacob.
Yep. Good choice.
All right. That's enough. Nations League. We'll see how that unfolds tomorrow night, but let's get to our third edition of our new segment, STS Best Bets. I put that abbreviation in. I'll take credit for that one. Who wants to start?
Can I just say right off the bat, I have lost. Both my legs last week lost, right? Oh yeah, because I picked Liverpool and Wolves in the FA Cup.
and both were leading at one point.
Yeah, they both lost.
You bet on FanDuel about Gary O'Neill complaining about referees. He's like the new king of whining about everything. And it always has to be like this. We have to care about it for a week. We're being held hostage to Gary O'Neill's crocodile tears. Great manager, but I'm tired of it.
Take a stand.
I will. And he needs to sit down. That's what he needs. He needs to stop taking a stand.
Tell him to sit down, know his role, shut his mouth.
Yes. All right. There you go.
I don't know. I mean, very good manager. But he's a little whiny, and I'm a little sick of it because it's getting old.
Ricardo, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start, but none of them are going to hit because I just can't bet correctly, it seems like. So, as if 2 legs wasn't enough, I'm going to make it 3. Let me make sure that all 3 of them don't hit. So whatever I just say now, take the other team. But I picked Wales money line. Who are they playing again? I already blanked on them.
Finland.
Finland, yeah. Like they seem deluxe to me, right? Georgia beating what is it, Kazakhstan? No.
Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, wherever the hell that is.
Same thing. They're both terrible. Whatever. And the U.S. money line. It would be shocking. That would be the most shocking out of the bunch if the U.S. doesn't pull it off. So that's plus what? 3. I like the number 333. 25 to win. 25 to win. 83-28. So do whatever you want with that, or don't.
All right. I guess I'll go next.
Let's do it.
Since we're going national teams, this is the lock of the century, by the way. This is Jacob giving the side eye because it's his idol, Christian Pulisic.
Failed leader.
I forgot to write in the banner for those watching on YouTube or Spotify. I have USA money line, and both of these props are for the game against Jamaica later today. If you're watching on Thursday, USA money line and Christian Pulisic anytime goal. Christian Pulisic anytime goal on its own plus 220. Are you kidding me? He always scores at the international level. He always does.
Yeah.
Christian was going through the odds for me earlier. Christian, I need you to read the people who are favored to score.
Let me pull that up.
Over Christian Pulisic.
Yeah, it's actually outrageous.
This is insane.
Jacob, you'll be hearing this for the first time. It's a bit surprising, I would argue. Let me pull that up.
When he said this to me,
I was just as surprised as you were. Okay, so for those of you watching on FanDuel at the time of recording, it's actually moved even more towards the 2 players we talked about, Andrew and Ricardo. So the shortest odds to score in this match for the United States is Haji Wright and Florian Balogun, both at plus 140. Jacob's reaction says it all.
Right.
Again,
what?
It doesn't make any sense. And Ricardo Pepi, second shortest odds at plus 150. Probably makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Given that we don't know if he will start, and even if he doesn't, I think there's a very good chance he scores off the bench. Another one, Timothy Weah, more of a orchestrator.
He doesn't score goals.
No, that's a great point.
He's not his father. He did not inherit that from his father. Let's just put it that way. It's not George Weah, folks.
Yeah,
this is little Timmy.
Plus 185. Timmy. And the last one, probably maybe one of the more confusing ones of the bunch. Not a guaranteed starter tomorrow night. Malik Tillman from the midfield at plus 200 has shorter odds than the best player on the team right now at plus 220. How on earth are 5 players ahead of him? It makes no sense.
Absurd. This
is very good value given what FanDuel's put up for us. I mean, how is he? I mean, I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And you gotta imagine too, if they do draw a penalty, Christian Pulisic is taking the pen too. You got to keep that in mind too. This is insane that he's at plus 220 on his own. So getting this bundled with the USA money line, make it plus 252. I think this is the best value of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So 25 to win, 63.04.
There we go. Jacob, you want to go or you want me to?
Sure.
All right.
I don't remember what it is. Yeah, read and weep, folks. This is hard. This is a heart pick. This is not a bet with your head. That's why your total is so low. Because I want you to bet responsibly, and I don't want you to lose a lot of money. So
thank you, Jacob.
Hey, I mean, the less money you lose, the better, folks. Don't forget that. And your bank account certainly will be happy about that part too. So, yeah, Israel qualify for the next round. I hope this happens. If it doesn't, don't hold my feet to the fire. I never said it was a lock. So, yeah, it's real simple. Yep. No guarantees. The only guarantee is that if this doesn't hit, you will not lose a lot of money.
Nice.
It's true.
There we go.
Good point.
All right, let's finish this thing off. Orlando City have been awful Major League Soccer this season. I think it's second bottom in the Eastern Conference, a team that was projected to be a contender. If they lose this one, I don't have any answers for you. I mean, it's at home against Austin FC, who have been also very bad in the Western Conference. So that's the first one. It was, I believe, right around minus 120, minus 130. So even on its own is pretty solid value. Cincinnati, a very dangerous team, is playing New York City FC at home. As Andrew mentioned earlier, not playing well. Cincinnati at home, pretty dominant, one of the stronger teams. I'll take them to win at home. And I don't know if I feel great about this one, but Mexico to qualify. It kind of feels written in the stars to be Mexico, United States. And on a neutral location, I think Mexico will have less trouble against Panama. I think if it was on the road, I don't know if they would win. But Mexico to qualify, plus 348, $30 to win 104.42.
You know what? I'll say this about NYCFC, though. Even though they are dead to me, they're coming off, I mean, I think one of the most impressive wins they'll have this season against Toronto FC under John Herdman, who is it's a shocking turnaround. Well, yeah, it's a shocking turnaround for Toronto, who going through a lot of behind the scenes drama with Insigne and Herdman having to come in and not knowing what he's doing with this club he inherited, and the fact that NYCFC somehow won against this club at Yankee Stadium with no crowd. It's beyond me. So this is NYCFC's best form of the season. Just saying that. Just throwing that out there. You never know.
Unfortunately, that'll probably come back to bite me again. I'm 0 for 2, so probably going to be wrong.
Yeah.
So far, only 2 winners are Andrew and Jacob. So we'll see if that trend continues. But let's get to our last topic. This is a little bit of a recap from the weekend. The FA Cup quarterfinals took place. One of us is not particularly happy. That would be me. And Jacob, not really happy either, but into the next round. So
yeah, but being reminded that Liverpool aren't in it anymore makes me very happy.
Okay, well, I guess Jacob is more than fine then.
And then Jurgen's attacking reporters after the game.
Yeah.
What a clown. He's mad because he couldn't fist bump in the air.
Jesus, really going at it.
Yeah, all right. We'll let Jacob talk about Chelsea first, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Another uninspiring 4-2. I mean, folks, don't let that 4-2 fool you. It was not a convincing victory by any. Should have been 7. Should have been like, let's see, the penalty miss, the miss on the 1-on-1. Am I forgetting any? It'll be nice. It should have been 6-2. Should have been 6-2, and Raheem Sterling should have had a 10 out of 10 game. But instead, he decided to wet his pants. So what do I mean? Let me break it down for you. So in the first half, it's a penalty, not a penalty that I don't think he drew that penalty. Maybe he did. Even if he did, it doesn't matter. Cole Palmer, who has not missed a penalty the entire season, I don't know how many he scored, but I know he has not missed one. Instead, Raheem Sterling says, no, I'm going to do it. He walks up there. He takes the worst penalty ever. Blatantly obvious he's going one way, and it gets saved. And instead of being up 3-0 at the half, instead of being up 2-0 at the time, it's 1-0. But then he gets this crummy assist, and Cole Palmer saves the day for that at that point, and it's 2-0 at the half. Then in the second half, after another one of Mauricio Pochettino's inspiring team talks that obviously didn't motivate the team at all, I really want to know what the heck. I want all or nothing Chelsea. That's what I want, because I want to see how awful these team speeches are, and then I can understand why they come out so flat every time they have a break. Every time they have a break. They start off with Axel Disasi thinking that he's trying to score a goal, except he scores one on his own net. So then it's 2-1. And then they get this incredible goal. I forgot who the hell it was, but it was a very good goal. And it's 2-2. And I immediately say to myself, okay, here we go again. Here we go again. They're going to friggin' lose to Leicester. They got the easiest damn draw, and they're going to freaking blow it again. Because this is Poch ball. This is what we do. And luckily, so this is the best part. He makes changes. He doesn't take Raheem Sterling out, who's having a terrible game. And later on, when there was a free kick, which, could have been taken by anyone else, he says, no, I got it. He skied the ball so high in the air, you would have thought it was Apollo 11, for crying out loud.
Yeah, he held circle for way too long on that one.
I mean, that's what it was. So then, of course, he takes Mudryk out instead of Sterling. And I think he put in Chukwuemeka.
Yep.
I think. Who ended up scoring the first goal that won them the game. And the reason that they did that is because Leicester went down to 10 men. So they couldn't lose the game then. They could, but of course they didn't. Because Leicester couldn't get the ball. So it took a 10-man championship side for Chelsea to win. And then Nani Madueke added one at the end, and it was nice, and it made it 4-2. Yeah, there's no one cares about goal differential at this stage of the FA Cup.
It doesn't even matter in the FA Cup.
It doesn't matter. So. But it was a nice souvenir, so to speak. And it made it look a lot better than, I guess it makes it look better than 3-2. I just want, why can't my team give me a complete performance? That's all I want. I mean, they're playing freaking Leicester City, who are not in the Premier League anymore. Is that so much to ask?
They'll be back in the Prem next year.
No, I don't care, though. As of right now, they're not.
Well, Jacob,
it should have been a beatdown. Beat down. And instead, I had to hold my breath and cross my fingers and hope it wasn't going to end in disaster. Oh. But luckily, Christian's team embarrassed themselves.
Yeah.
And I said I should have picked them, but I said they're at home. I give them a shot. Even though I didn't pick them, I should have picked them.
Well, for Chelsea, they play Burnley coming out of the international break. So if there's a get-right game, it's going to be that one.
You better win that. And this is the good news. This is the good news. David Dacho Fofana, who's been playing very well, can't play because he's at Chelsea. And of course he's, lighting it up there. Because, what else? Because Chelsea definitely doesn't need another goal scorer. We know that. But yeah, Burnley, hopefully they get that right. Hopefully Romeo Lavia can come back from wherever the hell he is. Hopefully his knee can finally be healed. But yeah, one last thing is with Chukwuemeka scoring that goal, it reminded me of what I've been saying. More Chukwuemeka, less Gallagher. More Mudryk, less Sterling. That's what I want. Please. They have almost nothing to play for except the FA Cup. I mean, they have to fight not to be in 10th. 10th! A team that spent $1 billion pounds or dollars or whatever the hell it is. $1 billion of something. And I have to be satisfied with 10th. Because, hey, it's better than 12. That's the bar. And I know they won. I should be happier. But, same old.
Well, Jacob, are you at least happy that Raheem Sterling isn't in his England squad? Is he going to have that motivation? Is he going to have that killer instinct?
I either that or because we're playing a team like Burnley, he's going to have a 3-on-1 and he's not going to pass the ball. He's going to shoot it at Trafford's feet.
I could definitely see that.
Oh, yeah. You can.
Can I bet on that? Can we use that in the best bets?
Now that'd be a bet. now that's the lock of the century. It's frustrating with Sterling because I want Sterling to be like a leader, and he's like the opposite. He wants all the glory, and then doesn't perform, which is pathetic. And I know he shouldn't be booed. Because, he's a professional and all this stuff. Well, can he play a little better, please? I don't need him to play like he did at Man City. I know that's asking for way too much. Just be better, please. Anyway, I've said my piece.
At least you have Conor Gallagher.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah, he'll go on a 5-minute rant if you continue there.
Don't bring him up.
All right, let's discuss Liverpool because very disappointing given that they were leading late in the second half. I thought Liverpool were way off the mark for a large stretch. I think the biggest takeaway is them not taking their chances in the second half. I don't know if any of you were able to catch that game, but it was just really poor in the second half. There were a lot of 3-on-1s, 4-on-2s on the break, and many times they didn't even get a shot off. I just thought their execution in the counter was really underwhelming. And, credit to Manchester United because for large portions of the season, that would have been a game they still would have lost, even with Liverpool's underwhelming attack. Rashford, effective at times. He had the huge miss at the end of normal time, but I thought he was causing some problems. Højlund, nice to see him back from a United perspective after a long time out. And at the end of the game, you saw some of these United players leaving all out. I mean, Bruno was basically playing center back in extra time because he could not run up and down the field. McTominay was grimacing and pulling for his hamstring as he played that ball to Rashford to make it 3-3. And I mean, come on, who would have expected Antony to score?
Yep.
On his weak foot. Good point. I mean,
I was gonna say, it's bad when you let Antony score the game-tying goal
on his right foot too. The two teams he's scored against this season are, I believe it was Newport County and Liverpool.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the most bizarre goal resume for the season. I mean, Antony is so bad. I mean, kudos to him for scoring that. It was a really difficult ball to control. I think Van Dijk was in the area. I think another player was also there. I mean, that was just bizarre. I mean, nobody in their right mind would have predicted him to score, especially against Liverpool. And Diallo scores the winner on the break. I mean, that was
wild.
Again, just poor execution from Liverpool. At that point, it was better off that they were going to go to pens, and they just left nobody back on the corner kick.
Which was so stupid.
Yeah, I just think Liverpool were really poor in pretty much any area, and they took advantage of some mistakes in that second half of the first half with McAllister's goal, who's playing much better as a number 8, by the way. Endo coming back in the team has done wonders for him, and Salah off a mistake I believe from Onana, and then another one where Joe Gomez got into a 50-50, won the ball while also taking some contact, which I know a lot of people had some discourse about that being a foul. But, I just think at this point, Liverpool they needed the break big time, international break. I was very disappointed, especially when, they were potentially 2 wins away from another trophy. And especially when you're winning on the road and you could have put them away in the second half. It's just bad from all areas, I think. Anything to add on that from a Liverpool point of view?
I wish I could have watched that second half. That's I watched the highlights after. I was like, man, yeah, they just couldn't put away the chances. And I mean, I don't understand how United managed to, come back. I mean, we've seen them do this against Villa. They came back and won. And I guess this is a much bigger stage, but still, the fact that they even managed to do it again, to me, is just shocking. And this kind of saves Ten Hag like some time at least. I mean, it's just the pressure's on for him definitely to, try and keep pushing for top 4. But at this point, this is the FA Cup, the only trophy that's really within reach, especially with the draw that they got. I mean, the pressure's even more pressure's on because of that, because they're going to be favorites in this game in Wembley. And I mean, just credit to United for them taking their chances, at which Liverpool just couldn't manage to do. And I mean, if Liverpool had, this wouldn't even be a discussion right now. It would have been, well, Liverpool did it just as we expected, just done and dusted. Now they're on to the next round, and quadruple would have been alive, but still, it's definitely a surprising way to go out for Liverpool.
I need to find a video of Roy Keane's thoughts that isn't blocked in this country.
Roy Keane?
Oh, is that Roy? Is my friend Roy Keane?
Yes. It actually might be Raheem Sterling.
Oh, he got word. Maybe it's Gareth Southgate, who, by the way, Sir Jim Ratcliffe looking at Gareth Southgate for the Man U job.
Oh my God,
that would make sense to me.
Are you kidding me?
I think that's a step back
target.
It's either him or Graham Potter.
You know what that means? Jordan Henderson, the Man U.
God.
The midfield's gonna be Jordan Henderson, Eric Dyer, and
Harry Kane.
Speaking of England, I wish I brought this up earlier, brought up before the show. Any thoughts on this Ben White thing? Of him not wanting to play for England?
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
I think that's. I mean, I know everybody hates Southgate, but I mean, you don't want to play for your own country. I kind of have my problems more with the guy that doesn't want to play for the team than, because it clearly doesn't seem like Southgate wants him there. Yeah, he's like I think he's saying that the invitation's open.
Yeah, it screams personal issue, and I don't like it when personal issues take precedent over a country.
And they could use Ben White. I know,
Yeah.
And he only just signed a contract extension. Yeah. And he's having a really good season. For him to do this right after that is very odd.
Arsenal's video for his contract extension was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Well, I didn't watch it. Why?
It was just like all the Arsenal players describing Ben White, and it was just
really I did.
It was like a carefully crafted, like Hollywood. Yeah, exactly. It's like an in memoriam piece for Ben White, who, I mean, at this point might as well be with a contract extension at Arsenal. But funny stuff.
Jacob, to add on to that, there's been some reports today about the reasoning behind that, and apparently there's been a back and forth between Ben White and one of their assistant managers, Steve Holland. Not familiar with him, but apparently it started all the way back in 2022. So I don't really know much beyond that, but yeah, it's a fascinating thing because, again, he has got a ton of versatility. He can play as a right-sided center back, right wing back, probably. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. I don't know what is behind that, but it appears that it's with an assistant manager, not necessarily Southgate.
Fire him. not White.
No.
Just kidding.
Don't give in to the player on this.
I know.
Ben White, not Harry Kane. I mean, yeah, I just think it's a bad look. And England, I think, have a real shot this year.
I haven't winning the whole
I know they're going to find a way to screw it up, but I still think that they have a real shot to do it.
It's coming home, right? Right, guys?
It's coming home. It's coming home.
I feel really good about this thing. I think this is like a really good England team.
That's what we say all the time.
No, I know, but like this is better than the World Cup where they had that fraudulent Cinderella run because they didn't have any good teams that they played and almost got to the final because they had the easiest draw ever.
Yeah.
You mean in the Euros?
No, in the World Cup in Russia.
Yeah, the World Cup, yeah.
Where they played awful teams
right.
like
They played
Russia
Croatia
and Colombia without James and somehow lost to Croatia. Although they would have just
Croatia.
No, I know. Oh, excuse me. They lost to Croatia of all teams.
Yep.
Yeah, don't discredit my guy.
Come on.
You hate Luka now.
You know
what? When have I ever said that?
Remember, Jacob was the one that wanted him at Chelsea 2.5 months
ago.
I
hated him. I just he
just
doesn't play.
Washed. You said
you just don't need to play a 38-year-old 90 minutes.
I've also never said those words. That's more Andrew's kind of.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's washed. I'm just saying all I was saying was, why do you want Luka Modric at this stage of his career?
Because he's a legend.
You've invested in younger guys.
Because my team need older players. In the world, they do. What, they're going to sign more young, inexperienced players? Because that's going to be the cure, because it's obviously working now.
That's what they're going to do.
It just screams desperation. Just screams.
Yeah, we are desperate. I don't think that's a secret.
All right, I think that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
Anything else to add on before we head out?
Oh yeah, didn't Kobe Mainu get called up?
Yes.
That's thank God. Yeah. Deserved.
Although they need to call up Ward-Prowse.
Yeah,
and it's a disgrace that they don't have him called up
over Conor Gallagher, right?
Conor Gallagher.
Oh my God, that makes me so angry.
Conor Gallagher.
James Ward-Prowse with one eye is better than Conor freaking Gallagher.
All right, I think that's all for us. Thank you for watching. Of course, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Check us out on Twitter, and very active on that, posting some clips and polls and starting lineups. So everything you can find, it'll be there. Of course, check us out next week. We'll have a recap of the Nations League. We'll be previewing next weekend, which will come out the first couple games for post-international break. But as always, thank you for watching, and check us out next time.